Ladies and gentlemen, proud families and fellow graduates, today is more than just a ceremony. It's a celebration of our perseverance. For me, this moment marks something I once believed I'd never see, a day where I could stand proud of what I've accomplished against all odds. I grew up in foster care. I was adopted not once, but twice. And from a very young age, I carried this constant, quiet feeling that I didn't quite belong anywhere. I moved through the world feeling like I was on the outside looking in, uncertain, anxious, and often overwhelmed. I struggled with ADHD and the weight of instability, and grade school felt more like a battleground than a place of learning. I learned differently than others. Staying focused on mundane things without clear, obtainable goals was a significant struggle for myself, and it all seemed impossible. Before WGU, I had tried college once before, and like a lot of people who come from backgrounds like mine, I didn't make it very far. It wasn't because I didn't care, I just couldn't see myself in it. I didn't see anyone who looked like me or lived like me or had experienced the life and trauma that I had. Even while working through my insecurities from foster care, I still couldn't conquer the lofty demands of a traditional college. Between the schedule and study requirements and the seemingly indefinite costs and time to complete, there was no way I could follow in the footsteps of what the world considers to be a stereotypical college student. I struggled mentally, emotionally, and socially, a direct consequence of my fostered youth. No one understood my unique needs, and I never found what I needed to succeed, so I left college. But something in me never let that idea go completely. I've always had a drive, a quiet internal determination not to impress anyone else, not to check a box, but because I knew I had more to give. I've always been self-motivated for the sake of being better, not because someone told me that necessarily that I needed to be. At many points in my life, being better was my responsibility to myself. Even when I wasn't sure where I was going, I knew I didn't want to stay where I was. Years passed, life happened, and as my career progressed, I hit a turning point, not just professionally, but personally. I started to ask myself, what's next? Could I finally pursue a degree in a way that worked for myself, for my life, and my pace, and my unique mind? I wanted a solution that let me take control of one of the biggest decisions of my life for what felt like the first time ever. And that's when I discovered WGU. And that's when I went back to college and I did it on my own terms. I enrolled at WGU as a working professional, longing for more, as someone who had already fought through more than most people may ever see. And I didn't just come back to finish something, I came back to write the next chapter of my own story. I balanced coursework with a full-time job and with everything else life continued to throw at me. Many days I come home, I was completely exhausted, but I committed to accelerating, using each course as fuel for the next. I accepted every course as a new challenge. I set lofty goals for myself, and I took great pride with every course that I checked off of that list. I tackled my bachelor's degree and now my master's, not because anyone else needed me to, because I needed me to. But perhaps in all of this, the most meaningful of all, I now belong to a group that represents less than 1% of people who have grown up in the foster care system who go on to earn a graduate degree. That's less than 1 in 100. The math based on the graduates in this room looks like just 6 graduates. Those types of numbers used to scare me. It used to make me feel invisible, but now it empowers me. I'm not just a statistic, I'm a story of what's possible when you keep going. Because it's not just about a diploma, it's about proving to yourself that your story isn't finished, that your beginning doesn't define your end. It's about choosing to rise again and again, even when no one expects it from you. So if there's anything you take from my story, take this. If the things you do don't challenge you, you cannot expect them to change you. My time at WGU challenged me in ways I'd never been before, but they also changed me like never before. Change is hard, not easy, but worth it. Today, I work for Churchill Downs, managing audiovisual system strategy and implementation for one of the most iconic venues in the world. It's a role I take great pride in. It's strategic, technical, and fast-paced, and I'm privileged to lead in a space I'm genuinely passionate about and thoroughly enjoy. To my fellow graduates, whether your journey has been smooth or full of detours, you don't need to follow anyone else's timeline. You don't need to fit into someone else's mold, and you absolutely do not need permission to chase something bigger for your life. We've each carried something heavy to get here, and yet we've carried it. We've struggled, doubted, failed, and still we moved forward. And that's what makes this moment so powerful. We didn't get here by accident. We got here by choice. Congratulations to all of us. Not only did we make it, we chose to make it. Thank you.